Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than a live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. At the Bench is right below in memory of our friends. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunthangar, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. Now, when you register, you must use your first and last name separated by a space and a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthangar, will not approve you. Now, if you're already approved, but you just rather just watch us on YouTube, fantastic. You can enter your questions or comments in the chat box over here. I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. Now, understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or comment, and I will get to it. Just give me some patience, some grace, because sometimes it really is hard to get even my own thoughts in. Now, if you find Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, and please subscribe, share, comment. All these engagements of the channel help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Plus, we have a membership, which you can show your support through our membership, which starts at $4.99 a month. And there's 2 tiers above that. And by the way, I'm a member of the YouTube channel myself. So I'm just asking you to partner with me. I'm not asking you to do something I'm not doing myself. I see the value in it. I mean, it works out to be like 17 cents a day. If you did the lowest tier, $4.99 a month. Please support. Now, when you become a member, you also have access to member-only videos. Not all of the videos, not all of the shows are public. Some of them are member-only. So you actually will get something in return, access to some videos. There's some videos of Al Rave that Sparky has uploaded, and there's some other videos that are not public. So please support us. Another way you can show your support is through the super chat, which is right below the chat box over here. That's during the live stream. But if you're watching the replay, there's a thing called the super thanks. I think it's a heart with a $sign in it. And you can do that, and you can donate any amount you like. So please support. Appreciate it. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. So if you want to get in touch with me, see, I come in here Monday and Friday nights. I set up the program and I stream it live on YouTube, and I don't come back again to this channel until the following broadcast. So today is Monday. I'll be back Friday. So I don't really check the comments. I don't get the comments. But if you want to get in touch with me, if you have some questions, if you have any ideas or criticism, that'd be fine. Go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. And if you go there, if you locate the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video that Sparky shot with his video camera, me flying his beautiful and light Junar XL. It was orange back then, and if you see it today, it's white, I think, with some orange trim. And that's the plane I flew at my first ever Nats. I think I had 2 or 3 practice patterns before that video was taken. So I was really just learning the plane. But check it out. Like, share, and subscribe there as well. Appreciate it. Now, let me see here. One last thing. I want to thank everybody for your past, your present, and future support You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, if you don't, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm now going to actually, I already posted the link. I'm posting the link early so we can get going with gas. And it looks like Gary Sinclair is in here. All right, Gary, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Let me get to the control panel and we can see what's happening. Let me see here. I'm making my way there right now. And you have my attention in just a moment, Gary. So just bear with me while I do this.
You're just fine.
Let me see here. Yeah, click on here and let me just edit this real quick. Looks like we have a few people in the chat box already. I'll be right with you momentarily. Get this going here. Great, that's done. And great. All right, cool. So
yeah,
first up is Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. He says, yo. Thank you, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. And then Marcel Legrand says, hi, Charles and everyone at Stunt School. Thanks for coming in, Marcel Legrand and Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. And then Gary Sinclair, who we have here right now. He's a member of our YouTube channel. I can tell by the moniker next to his name. And he's also has that blue wrench. He is a monitor. So be careful, tread lightly, because Gary can squash you and kick you out of here if you're misbehaving. And then Marcel Legrand came back with, I am a member, Charles. But you can't see it on my phone. Okay, so I guess when you come in your phone, I can't see it, but thank you. I appreciate everybody. And I especially appreciate the ones who are supporting us with their patronage, with financial donations and support. I appreciate it. Let me change how this thing is set up here. And looks like we have, let me change the view here to our gallery. All right, gallery. And now we have, I'm not sure of the order besides Gary came in first. And how you doing, Gary? I don't know if I asked you, how are you doing? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Yeah.
Great.
I'm ready for a show. Learn something maybe.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the order, so I'm just going to pick and go. So Stuart Morrison, how you doing, Stuart?
I'm doing good. Yep. I got a mess here in my shop, but hopefully in a couple of weeks that'll clear out a bit. So
all right. Nothing wrong with that. So
yeah.
what are you working on?
Oh, well, I've got the hot tub next door my daughter's taken in the other room here.
Okay.
So double my shop space, but everything's just a disaster.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet.
Got to move it to here where the shop is. It's got to come over. So, but yeah, it'll get there.
That's right, little by little. And then I'm going to go next to Dennis Adamison. How you doing, Dennis?
Real good, real good. And Stuart, if that's a messed up workshop, man, I can give you a lesson in messy workshops. That's all I can say. But anyhow, good to see everybody again.
He has more walking room, it looks like, than I have in mine.
That's it. So
you've been doing any building or flying, Dennis?
No, just mostly in the grandpa business the last few weeks. Haven't been getting over a really nasty cold here and stuff. That's kind of slowed me down some, but we're helping out with the kids' school year and stuff like that. Like tomorrow, Grandma and I are basically going to be doing all the bus driving, if you will, starting at 8 a.m. until 4:30. We'll be picking up or delivering somebody somewhere. So,
oh, that's cool.
Got a 3-month-old that we're watching for most of the day and stuff like that. So, all is well. All is well. So.
Very good. Very good. Let me go to Gordon Delaney, and then I'll hit you up, Mark, next. Hey, Gordon, how you doing?
Oh, I'm still here.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
My right elbow was in so much pain. I took a pain pill before I got online. I don't know. I think I mentioned I hit the corner of the kitchen cabinet with it.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, well, anyway, it happened about 4 days ago and it's just been getting worse. You know, that bandage or stretch thing on my left arm, but my right arm hurt so bad I switched it over.
Wow. Wow.
It's
So your
supposed
left arm feels pretty good now that your right arm hurts so bad, right?
to keep this on for 6 weeks on my left arm, but my right arm was hurting so bad from hitting that elbow, I switched it over. I guess I need two of them. Is what I need.
Yeah. So have you had a chance to do any work on your Pathfinder or anything?
Well, I untaped it around the paint edges where the primer is and moved it back just about a 30 seconds so I can sand the edges. And I got that ready to mask off, but I haven't been able to work on it. I got a friend says he'll come over this week and sand it out. He's probably got about 20 minutes of sanding left and I can start spraying color.
What color scheme are you gonna? What colors are you gonna use?
It's gonna match the old one. That was yellow fuselage with red and blue trim.
Okay, very cool.
And my daughter sent the lettering for the goes on the monocoat with the name and numbers. And I should have her give me a little number on there. So how many of these I built,
Yeah.
so I can keep track.
Now that image on the kit, the Brodak kit, I've
Yeah.
seen. Is that image that of one of your planes? The one with
No,
the starburst kind of stripes? That's not one of your planes.
no, that was John Brodak's.
Oh, okay.
He builds them first before he kits them. And that was the trim scheme he did on the very first one.
Oh, okay.
It
Cool.
was kind of funny. The landing gear, main gear is bent for tricycle or tail rider just by swapping sides. And several people when the first kit came out was complaining that it was extremely tail heavy. And John Brodak called me. He says, I've got almost 5 ounces of lead on the nose to get it come down on the nose wheel. And I says, you got the landing gear backwards. No, they're not. Yes. I says, do me a favor, take the left one and move it to the right and vice versa. And then call me back. Well, he calls me back about an hour later. I could take all the lead off. I didn't need them anymore.
Amazing.
They're bent that way. I think that was John Miller's idea. And so you put it one way and you can put a tail wheel on it, or you can run a nose wheel like I do and flip them back around. So it makes it, well, whoever likes tail drivers or trike gear, they can set it up either way they want.
Okay. Well, that's new information. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I have a Pathfinder Arc in my garage. I haven't gotten to it, but I have one. It was like a birthday gift years and years ago, and I haven't put it together. But I've been clamoring to put together because I hear nothing but good things about the Pathfinder.
Now, is the Arc almost ready to be? Is it
Right.
covered?
No, it's not covered. It's all what I call in the nude.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'd rather have it that way anyway.
Yeah.
That redo the controls a little bit and set them up the way you want them.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was going to I don't think mine, the wire going through the bell crank, it wasn't bushed. So I was going to bush it.
Yeah. Or replace it with a carbon fiber or something.
Right.
I like that one that was Mike showed us last week, where the guy had made an XL profile, which made it.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how many square inches it is, because the one in the kit's 640, and for some reason I think they got it marked as 620.
Okay. I don't know what mine says, but yeah, that's super. Pathfinder XL or XL. That kind of intrigued me. I don't know how much he increased it. Do you have any idea? Did someone comment how much bigger he made it?
Mike didn't know.
Yeah,
He just showed us pictures of it.
right.
And when we first built it, I thought it was had a 58.5-inch wing, and we was flying it with an FP40.
Wow.
Well, when they kitted it, they called, wanted to know if they could shorten it with no problem. I said, yeah, drop it down to 55. So they cut it down to 55, which I thought was better because it didn't bounce around the wind as much. So anyway, we finally went to the LA 46. And this one here, now I'm putting a Stalker 51 in it.
Nice, nice. That's a side exhaust, rear exhaust.
Side exhaust.
Okay. Very nice. I heard that's one of their better motors.
Oh, they're sweet running motors. I put John's rear exhaust in my LE, and it flew it just as well as the PA 51 did.
Very cool. Let me see if I can get to Mark Gerber, and then I'll get to Philip Bailey, then Jonathan Carradas. Say, Mark, how you doing?
A tough day, Charles.
Tough day?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, look.
Oh,
no.
Oh,
oh
no.
man, all the planes. Why that one?
was that Pilot Air?
What'd you say, Gordon?
That Pilot Air?
Is that
Pilot?
what?
Was that Pilot Air?
Oh, well, sort of. I think I ran out of gas in the cloverleaf. Just stopped
Oh,
Oh, no.
oh, yeah.
going
Oh,
up. And you know what happens after that. I couldn't run fast enough. And
man, that is, especially if you're heading up and it runs out. That is so hard to save that when it's heading up and you're out of gas.
So sorry there, Mark.
Yeah,
no
that
warning,
Me
no
too.
warning at all.
that looks painful.
That's a sad miss. Is it rebuildable?
I think so. I'm going to let it set for a few days and calm down a little bit.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, me.
This happened today or yesterday, or was it
No,
today?
this morning I was flying. A beautiful day. It was flying great.
That always happens.
Yeah.
When the plane's flying great, it's like it's the best day.
And I
Uh,
I got to the end of the pattern at the cloverleaf, and all of a sudden the motor just died. And
No warning?
nope.
Oh, my goodness.
oh man,
That hurts.
That's really surprised me because usually it'll start to, speed up some. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't taken the tank out yet. I want to check it and make sure there's no fuel in it, but I'm pretty sure it's out of gas.
Oh, man. That thing was so.
that
For
hurts.
those of you who've never seen it in person, it's prettier in person than it was in pictures.
Yes, definitely.
So I think I could probably build a new center section for the wing. It's a classic straight in crash. You get two pieces of wing and two pieces of fuselage. The fuselage is still together up on top here. There's like two stringers holding it together.
Oh,
And I just took the push rod was holding the wing in, so I took that off this evening and got the wing out, and it's pretty much toast right through the middle there. And same thing with the fuselage. I think I might be able to build a new center section for the wing and build a new center section for the fuselage and splice it all together. But the front end isn't, except for the cowling up here, it hit with a slightly negative angle of attack. It was not straight in. It was a little bit over the top. And so the top of the cowling here got smashed, but the rest of it's fine from what I can see from the outside. needle valve didn't even get bent on the engine.
Hmm.
Of course, it wasn't running when it hit, so
Did you have a Tiger 60 in that?
that's what's in there.
Wow.
This is Dick Carville's Super Tiger 60. I also have a Tom Lay Super Tiger 60, which I put in here. But I thought Dick's ran a little bit better, so I've been using Dick's.
And that was a rev up prop or not?
Yeah,
Oh man.
If that thing runs any better than a Tom Lay Tiger 60, that was a sweet running engine.
oh yeah, I mean it ran great. And like I said, it was flying really. I was flying my SV11 last Friday. Just one last time before I started on the Bearcat to get ready for Las Vegas next week.
Oh
And
man.
this thing flies so much better than the SV11. So it's really the sad part. It's really great flying airplane.
Yeah. Oh, Mark, your challenge now is to build it back better than it was.
The trick is to build it back as good as it was and not any heavier.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, it's been a tough day, but
What a bloody shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sick when I wrecked my SV, but that's worse. Oh man. That is such a
So
pretty
what
airplane.
what I've always done, I always have a blanket in the car that I use to make sure that protect the car from any fuel drips and stuff. So I get the blanket out and then I make sure I get all the pieces I can find
Right. Yes.
and carry it back to the car in the blanket. So
Oh man.
Mark, what size was the tank in there?
I
Six.
think it would hold about 7.5 ounces. I put about 5 1/4 ounces in it.
Oh,
And SV11, which has also got the Super Tiger 60, has been running on about 4 3/4, 4.5.
really?
Yeah.
You must have a dome head in it. Those concave head ones.
Well, I think the Venturi's got a fairly narrow diameter.
Yeah.
It's about a 295. And some of the stuff I've read, people open them up to over 300, 305. But it ran so well, and I had enough power, so I wasn't going to open the Venturi up anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm so sorry that happened to you, buddy.
the
That's
Bearcat's
too.
not going to be in Las Vegas next week, so
you're still coming there, right? You were still coming?
yeah, I gotta decide when I want to fly. Got the P40 and the SV11 and my Ryan. So
All right, good. Ah, that's too bad. So Philip, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Much better than Mark is right now. SV's coming back together. I finally figured out that the front of that thing is built with a 1/16, basically a crutch in it, two sides, a top and a bottom piece. So I got those. Well, I got enough of it back to where I could figure out how big they were supposed to be. Cut two of those. I got the sides cut and got the bottom piece cut, which is just really a ring around the outside because the motor has to go through it. Anyway, I got all the pieces built. Now I just got to put it back in the plane and put the nose on it. Then it'll be a case of just build the blocks back around it. So the rest is much easier. I've done the hard part. Now I just got to get it ready until I go to trying to match up the monocoat. I don't know how you match up that blue monocoat. I've got monocoat, a conocoat, and something else, and none of it matches. So I don't know what I'm gonna do there.
Yeah, no, those
But anyway.
colors are peculiar because I can't match them either. My green one, I can find a darker green and maybe a lighter, but can't find the right green.
Yeah, I even looked at the trim coat. That stuff don't match either. So I don't know what to use. I'm not going to recover the whole airplane, but I may put some kind of design in the front or something just to change it a little bit. Because I want to put it back like it was, but I cannot figure out what color that darn thing is, what covering material that is. It's not monocoque, that much I know. But anyway, it's coming along. It looks like it's going to make it, and I'm enthused at that because it was really. I thought I was sick when I busted that one, but Mark, you get the award, brother.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Phil, we missed you down at King Orange.
Yeah, I did. I stuck my plane the week before, and that's what I was planning to take down there. I sold one, gave one away, and was going to take the SV down there because I know a lot of the guys down there are flying ARFs and Axioma and that kind of thing. And I was just going to take an ARF and fly it, and then I stuck it. So I put the lines up backwards and stuck it. So anyway, thank goodness it wasn't going very fast, and it just busted just the front end of it. The rest of it seems to be fine. So we'll get it back together. I say just the front end. I never knew the front end could be in so many pieces. Man, that thing's in a bunch of pieces. It was like a jigsaw puzzle. That's what I've been calling it, my jigsaw puzzle. But it's coming. It's coming. And then strangely enough, I was going to get back on my Bearcat, which mine's the BBQB, but I want to get that thing finished and painted. And they tell me the epoxy doesn't blush as bad as dope does, and I can paint it in the cool weather. So I'm going for it. We got the weather around here has been so strange. It was hot, then it was hotter, then it was, oh my gosh. And then it got cool and it's been in the 70s. So it gets to 70 about 3 or 4 o'clock. Well, I'm usually doing something else by then, but the rest of this week, I've got one day, Wednesday, that I go to the Project Healing Waters tying flies, fly fishing flies, trout flies. But the rest of the week I'm at home, and I think I'm going to do some painting. I've got everything set up to do some painting, but the 2 days I've tried to do it, it's been windy or raining or both. So we'll get there. We'll get there. You know, it's just a shame. Just every time I try to do something, I've got to learn to say no. People call me and say, "Can you help me do this?" And I've got to learn to say no because I need some time for myself. I need to rest a little bit. I got a call this afternoon. We were going to go look at the leaves up on the parkway, and we got a call while we were on the way up there, and wanted me to take somebody wanted me to drive to Fayetteville with him tonight. It's about a 2-hour drive, and pick something up, and then 2 hours back. Well, that's 4. You might as well figure 5 hours.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, come on, please." But I didn't have to go, so we lucked out there. But anyway, it's just the guys called me and said they want to go flying last night. And I said, "Well, I've already made plans. I can't go tomorrow. I had planned to go Tuesday. Well, they're not going Tuesday. So tomorrow I've got plans to do something else. And Wednesday after class, I get out at 12. I think I'm going to go by Hobby Park and see if I can't fly. They tell me you can fly an electric by yourself, but my wife says she'll meet me over there and launch it for me. So
that's nice. That's nice.
We'll take my Vector out and fly some. Yeah, we'll take the Vector out and fly some. I'm itching to get back on the handle. But
can Vicky fly?
She's trying to learn. I don't know if she wants everybody. I don't think she knows everybody wants everybody to know that, but she's trying to learn.
That's good.
She's we've gone to too many contests, and the people in these beginner intermediate contests are the same people for 3 and 4 years, and that's just ridiculous. So we're going to try it and see what happens.
Good.
I've got 2 trainers downstairs, so I can't get any new people to come and try them, so I'm going to get Vicky to try them.
You know what? If we get our wives flying, we'll double the modelers population.
Yeah, that would be fun, really.
It would.
Tell me something. Since we've got Gordo and Denny both on here, I've got a question for you guys. I know when I built fuel planes, glow motors, we always went by the rules of things that always work. You know, the tail goes up a 32nd or a degree. The nose goes down a degree, and it worked. It always worked.
Yep.
That's what he called it. Things that always work. And he was right. Okay. Well, now that we're flying electric, I've tried the motor up. I've tried the motor dead flat and I've tried it down. And I'm getting the best results either dead flat or 1 degree up thrust when using a clockwise prop as you count it from the front, looking at it like he's going to start the motor. So the question is, what do y'all do? What do y'all do? I'm wanting to run it with, I'm thinking about putting it 0-0 with the wing, but what do y'all do? Since I get to put this jigsaw puzzle back together and I get to figure it out as I go, what would you do? Put it back dead level, or would you put it back with some up thrust or some down thrust or what? I want to get to fly as good as it did originally.
Well, I've been building my pusher prop electrics with 1 degree up thrust, and it's been consistently working for me. So
Okay.
that's where I'd go. I have never done the stabilizer trick, so I have no comment on that. I've always tried to make them straight, and maybe I did it. Maybe I had a bent stabilizer and didn't know it, but the intention was to make it straight. So I guess I can't speak to that at all, but I have found on the thrust line, I've been getting consistent positive results with 1 degree up thrust. So
Okay, that's what I'll use then.
all right.
Because I've seen your planes fly and I can't fault them a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that goes out with a profile and kicks everybody's bottom that's using built ups, I ain't gonna argue with Dennis.
Yeah, that's a funny thing too, is that we've always looked at profiles as being some kind of a second class airplane or something like that. And usually they are, they're simplified and stuff like that. And with a glow engine hanging out the side and a fuel tank and everything like that, they can get kind of busy and everything like that. But I would argue with some of the electric profile conversions we've done and stuff, they don't give up anything to a full fuselage airplane.
I don't think they do either, but I think it's because the motor is so smooth.
Well, I think the point I guess I'm getting at is that nothing is sticking out there, nothing is causing drag or anything like that. But we've still got this look at, gee, it's a profile, therefore it's not as good, it's not a serious airplane. Well, I don't know. I guess I'm not necessarily buying that. So I go back to, and way back when, I remember watching Jim Kostecki and people like that show up with fuselages that were like outside dimensions, like 3/4 of an inch at the back of the wing and down to a 1/2 inch at the tail. He did that because he was using a 6.5 ounce Fox 35 and trying not to add any nose weight. So he'd make the fuselage as narrow as possible. For all intents and purposes, they were profiles. And of course, they looked really slick. But and they performed just fine. So now you got a built-up profile fuselage, and it says, well, that's a profile. That's not as good because it's a profile, so.
Well, I've got one. I got told it was not a profile because I ran the push rod down the center of the fuselage, my wasp. And whatever, some people are going to argue with you no matter what you do. If you do something that's not dead on what they've always done, then it's wrong.
Right.
Oh, that's it. It's one of those things. Soapbox time. A couple of years ago, I tried talking Pampa leadership into adopting a definition of a profile fuselage, because there is none. And even the AMA rules and other events and stuff, there isn't anything that we can really sink our teeth into. And not so much, it was not an attempt to try to force anybody to do anything or something like that. It was just somebody write down, what does Pampa think a profile fuselage is? And
yeah, really.
And it's certainly the local rules and stuff like that. Over the years, everybody's developed their own standards and stuff like that. And it wouldn't necessarily, because the profile events are unofficial events, local rules can be whatever the heck you want them to be. But somewhere there ought to be a nationally recognized definition what a profile fuselage is. Okay, off the soapbox.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me.
My question on that one is profiles is, if you're a judge and you do it like you're supposed to do it, I try not to look at the pilot. I try not to look at the airplane. I just want to see, what does it do? The only
Those a
thing you
few of the
look at, the
tricks,
only thing
right?
only thing I want to look at the pilot for before he starts that motor, I want to make sure that his name and what I got on that clipboard is the same thing.
Mhm.
And then watch the maneuvers and see, just score them fairly.
Mhm.
I don't care if you know them, you don't know them, or if you got a friend of mine used to be a real good friend and then not so much for a while. And I had arguments about judging and the scores that he gave people, because some people got really ballooned and some people got down. He and I were having arguments, and even two of the other contestants said, "Wait a minute, I watched this flight. This score sheet don't look like it." And we had arguments about that for 2 years. I finally didn't fly for a while because I got tired of it. I knew, well, I'm not going to win, so I'm not going to worry about it in local contests. I'll just go to the other contests, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can't do that. I don't care if you like them, if you can't stand them. Don't look at a person. Watch the airplane, see what it does, because you can't tell me that you can go out and judge this guy down and judge everybody else fairly. You mess everybody up when you do that. You mess the whole order up.
Yep.
So if you're going to judge fairly, judge fairly. If you're not going to judge fairly, stay home.
Yeah. Do what you do what's your best, just do your best. That's all.
That's it.
And everybody remember, it is a hobby and everything like that. And it is a judgmental thing and everything like that. And none of us are born with perfect calipers for seeing what we've actually flying to see just how good it is or isn't. And our judging friends they're not calibrated that way either. They're going to take their best shot. And, hey, if I win, I'm happy. If I don't win, I'm unhappy. It's as simple as that. So,
Well, I've tried to go at it now. My wife made me understand about a year or two ago. You've got a whole bunch of trophies from car shows. You've got a whole bunch on down the line. Where are they? Well, they're out in the building in boxes. Why are you worried about trophies? Go have fun.
yeah,
So that's what I do
it.
now.
Very good.
A lot of contests, a lot of times I go to the contest and like one I went to just not too long back, I was as ready to go as I've been in the last 5 years. But they didn't have enough judges. The judges didn't show up. So we judged. And everybody asked me, some of the local guys, one of the local guys asked me, "Why did you not fly?" I said, "Well, I need judges." "Well, but you were ready to fly." You can't have a contest without judges. And if somebody's not willing to give up and let everybody else have some fun, we all lose.
Yeah. How about
we
that?
all got to take turns judging. For sure.
That's it. That's part
Let
of
me,
that's part of the payback part. We're all in this for each other, I think, one way or the other. And
well, sooner or later you realize it's not the planes, it's not the trophies, it's the people.
yeah, that's it.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely.
And
That's it.
and by the same token, gee, you're not going to judge or something like that. Hey, we need somebody to be a pit boss. We need somebody to help with the flight order. We need somebody to tabulate a couple of rounds of scores and stuff like that. We don't have great big professional staffs of people just waiting to line up to serve us and everything like that. It's all on us, baby.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Be part of the solution or part of the problem. That's about all you got.
And something we've figured out here lately, just in the past 2 or 3 weeks, let's figuring out the maneuvers and trying to help everybody else with the maneuvers, is a whole lot of this stuff is not exact.
Yeah. You guys, let me interrupt. I want to get Jonathan Carodison and then Keith Trossel, and then we can go into some other stuff. Jonathan, your mic is muted, and I know it's for good reason.
Yeah, grandkid got home a minute ago with a new bike. It's his birthday today, so of course it's all crazy around here again today. But got a bit of news here. I flew in the weekend, had a ball. I was having a real good time.
That's great.
But I'm still a bit wobbly on my feet, so I flew the Spock of Wolf out of my chair. Now, I don't know whether you guys in America recognize that, but when the grass is long, we get seed heads here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That look like that, and they're about I suppose you'd call it about a foot high in your parlance.
Oh, Lord.
And they
get hard.
Yeah, my control lines got buggered up, and I was in my chair, couldn't get out of the way, and the Fokker Wolf came straight at me.
Oh no! Came at you.
Oh no!
Oh man!
Oh,
So
Lord.
Been a
I've
bad
got
Just
day in
laying
both
them on and
hemispheres
tearing them
here.
up.
here's the other half.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
This is
Yeah, it broke
definitely a
the
bad
cork.
night for warbirds, isn't it? So,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you
Geez,
survive?
I was having a good time too. And
Yeah.
what else is new? Oh yeah, we've got a new government. So that's made things a bit different around here too. I think a lot of people are happy. Some people are sad, but one way or another, we have a new government. This is the Hurricane. This is one of the wing.
Oh,
Half
nice.
the wing.
Wow, nice.
It's going to be sheeted, and I'll mold that and cup it around. This is the inboard wing. It'll have,
mhm.
you know, and got a bit of work to do on the wing yet. Of course, it's a bit rough, but I'm getting there. And I don't know whether
Looks good, though,
Sparky's
John.
tuned in, but he might be interested. I haven't run the 61 yet that he sent me, but he also sent me identical engine and measurement. Hang on, I'm just going to make sure I don't have another crash here. He sent me a 49 Merco, which is exactly the same. Well, exactly the same outside dimensions. And a friend of mine made the muffler.
Nice.
I think I showed that to you before. Another friend of mine made the Venturi. They're different sizes. This one's different to the one for the
You gotta raise up a little bit. Just make it a little bit higher.
60. Oh, sorry. This one's different for the one for the 61. This Venturi, I don't know what the difference is. I think it might be slightly smaller, but it looks actually bigger. But anyway, and the needle valves are out of Enya's. From Enya, brand new from Enya. Stock, Enya stock anyway. So I don't know whether Sparky's listening, but I haven't fired either up yet. I've been a bit of a slack puppy, buried and getting a whole lot of other stuff done around here, but I'll fire it up certainly within the next week, I'll fire them both up. And hopefully we're going to be able to get a bit of flying maybe through the week, because we've got the first cyclone of the season coming down, going past Vanuatu now, winding up. So we'll get the back end of that by the weekend. So that'll bugger things up for flying in the weekend. And my grandkids and daughter and what have you go to fly over to Fiji on Saturday. So I hope it bypasses Fiji with a bit of luck. And so that's sort of news from us. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Thank you, Jonathan. I'm sorry to hear about your mishap. So you was in your chair and the plane was coming at you, huh? You couldn't even probably
I couldn't get out of the way, and I had to just lift my legs out of the way. I thought, what are the chances? Because it's got plenty of power, plenty of grunt. And I just said, held my hand up high, and I just said, let her go. She'll be right. She'll mow any weeds down. But no, it didn't work like that.
Plane can do it, but if the wires get in the weeds, you're in trouble.
Murphy's Law, it just the chances of hitting me, and it just plowed straight into the shear. Oh, God.
I'm just glad you didn't get hurt. That's
me
important.
too.
Yeah. Well, it was, but I just had to laugh, really.
Yeah.
Poor old thing. They got me a third in the Nationals about.
Man.
About 4 years ago in the stunt semi-scale, and I pay it back by doing that. But never mind, I'll fix it up.
Good.
Was that a Brodak kit?
No, that's my own design.
Oh, cool.
It's got foam ribs made from foam meat trays. The ribs are.
Oh yeah. You showed us that. That's right.
Yeah, I've got a Spitfire I haven't flown yet either. That's made from the same stuff, because it was hard to get hold of decent balsa wood. It was all real slabby, heavy stuff. So I was using that, and it's very forgiving, actually. It's very. It'll take a whack. It's a bit like those Ukrainian flying wings. It'll hit the ground and bounce back.
Right.
It doesn't shatter like balsa wood, but it had no show this time. It's just
Very good. Let me.
Well, when you hit metal, something's got to give.
Well, it hit the legs where I've got foot pegs, and it's only stuff the size of your finger, so it was just went through it like a
yeah.
knife because it was
Yeah.
on the verge of taking off when it hit me.
Well, let me get into Keith Trossel, and then after Keith, we'll hear from John Skukulek. Hey, Keith, how are you doing? Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, hi, and I want to say to Mark, you haven't heard from me today because I don't know what to say. Sorry about your loss. Geez,
Yeah.
there's nothing I can say that's going to make it feel any better. I know that.
Did you see the picture of the carnage? Did you see it?
Yeah.
That's sad. That hurts. Look at that.
That does. That was shame.
Yeah. That's why we love flying so much, because when we have our good days, they're so good, right?
Yeah.
It's all part of the hobby.
It
Mark-
is. That's
Mark,
why
you
When
wanna
they're
make-
bad, they're horrid.
Mark, you going to make a decision to make another one or what?
Yeah, I think I'm going to let it set a couple of days and
Yeah.
calm down.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You don't want to make any rash decisions.
If you build another one, I might have to build one. I don't know.
Well, I've got an awful lot of parts in there that I could reuse. And
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't work for mine. That's all oil soaked and pretty well shot. Yeah. But well, yeah, control system and
well, the part that troubles me the most right now is that the elevator is jammed down full. And I think there's something broken back in the rudder mechanism, but I'm taking it apart yet to go see what it is.
yeah.
Hmm.
Anyways, sorry about that.
So you've been doing any building, Keith?
Been trying to get out to fly. Got my Madman finally working, and the solution was a bigger prop. We couldn't get the thing tamed down, and put a bigger got running a 14.5 on the thing now, and put it up yesterday, and it ran fine. So I'm going out tomorrow and try to get some practice before VSC, and going to go out tomorrow and fly my Focke-Wulf to see if that thing will fly and take that to VSC, or I might have to take the Chisholm. I'll take both of them to see what happens. I tried flying another old time, the Spirit of St. Louis, that I have flown in old time before, and I thought I might work, but at this altitude, it wasn't.
Now, are you coming to Las Vegas?
Yeah, I would be there.
All right, good. I look forward to seeing.
Keith, what motor's in the Madman?
An Oric 64. It was supposed to be running on ignition, but I can't run it. It doesn't. I can't keep it running on ignition. Can't even get it to run now. So that's off. Now then, if they say I have to have a muffler, I'm shot because this thing makes noise. But
Yeah.
Hey, you're back, Lynn. Thanks. I'm glad you came back. I saw you as gone.
the Madman, that's the Orwick 64. You've seen the Madman, I think, haven't you?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have a Madman 56 plans. I got one nearly built downstairs, and then I've got what's the other one? It's not a Madman. It's the same fuselage, but a different wing, constant cord wing.
A Dragon?
Dragon. Yes, sir. Thank you. This old timers is real. I'm telling you. Anyway, that thing flew great, and I love flying it. But I did the same thing that Mr. Carradas here did. I caught a blade of grass, and the thing came in at me and just cartwheeled. So I tore that one up. That was years ago. It's still downstairs, but I'm building the Madman 56, and I was gonna build it and put a Fox 59 in it. But now, after seeing how much nose weight that thing needs, I think I'm going to put a Merco 61 in it.
I had a Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting up there on the wall.
I think I saw your Dragon at VSC when I went out to VSC a couple of years ago.
Would have been a long time ago. That's a yellow. If you enlarge it, that's the yellow airplane hanging up there.
Okay, I can't enlarge it.
Oh,
I mean, there might be a way, but I don't see how to enlarge it.
or can you see it in the picture?
Yeah, it sure can. Yellow and blue. That's the way I'm painting my humongous.
The thing
Well, I'm
flew-
putting the red Sherkins on mine, but
really, it flies pretty well until I crashed it and putting it back together, it gained some weight and lost all its ability to fly really well. It still flies, but it's doing what it does best now, and that's to hang on the wall.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've got a couple like that. My Wasp is like that. It was great until the first crash. Everybody says, use this glow plug, use this glow plug. You got to try this glow plug. So I tried the glow plug and it flamed out inverted. Anyway.
So let me see what brings John Skukulak in. Hey, John, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Hey, guys, it's great to see everybody.
You too.
Charles, I have two brief show and tells, a Nobler show and tell.
All right.
And another one for the other challenger,
Give me just a
which
minute, Jack.
you guys have probably never seen. But I'm going to start by thanking Denny. It's been a while now, but I was having trouble with this Nobler and trying to slow it down, and it was leaning out once it got up in the air, and I got a lot of good suggestions, but you're the one that said, where's the pickup line? Is it inboard or outboard? And I had it inboard. And when I flipped it to outboard, it totally fixed that problem in a snap. So I fought it for days, but that was the simple answer. Everyone on here probably knew that, but I needed help. Sure.
Yeah,
That's the
we all
electric
do
guy said
sometimes.
that.
Yeah, not bad for electric guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Shortly
Yeah.
after that, I nosed that airplane in, just almost directly in. And I've been working on it for a long time, and I got it back in the air today after about a month.
Good deal.
And so I'm going to show a picture of it. There it is.
We don't see
No,
it
it isn't.
No.
Not yet.
All right, I got to share it. Hang on. I must not have clicked share. Not too much going on here, I guess. The crash was such that I broke the nose, not completely off, but just ahead of the leading edge as I try and figure this out. One side of the fuselage was separated, is broken, and the top of the nose was cracked all the way through. Oh, here it is. Okay. And I'll show that in a minute, but I'm going to switch quickly to my other Challenger show and tell here as I'm learning how to share. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, what is this?
This is and the picture is dated. It's an old picture that I've had around forever. It's dated May of 1960. I was 5 years old. My dad built this Walt Luciano Challenger.
Wow, nice.
And I always thought it was the greatest airplane. Of course, I was a little kid. I used to grab it by the lead outs and spin around and work the lead outs and see if it would move up and down. I never got to see him fly it. There were 6 of us kids, and by the time he finished this, he had no time for model airplanes. And so it's always been a goal of mine to try and find the airplane and build it. And I started building one back in 1995. And I just finished it.
Good job.
And I want to show a picture of that if I can. Yeah,
Looks a lot like a Frisky Pete. Oh, that's cute.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like it.
Got an OS Max 15 in it. I ruined the canopy trying to paint it. There's a nice pilot in there, but the canopy's butchered. But the rest of the airplane came out pretty nice. Haven't even flown it yet, but a project that started in '95, and I just recently finished it.
Congratulations.
An attempt to do this, and that's how I ended up. So I'm excited to give it a fly. Our weather
That's
here
great.
is, our weather days are few and far between.
All right, I got a dumb question. Did I
Yeah.
understand you were 5 years old in 1960?
Yeah.
We're both born in 55.
Yeah. But what, were you November by chance?
No, June
Okay.
the 8th.
November 6th for me.
Very
There you
good.
go.
And here's the Nobler that you guys helped me with, and Denny gave me the solution on, and then I blew it up. And I've got it back together. And what you see there is to cover up some of the damage on top, some black monocoat. And then I've got this, I added this piece of plywood to make sure the nose stays rigid. So this is on this side and that side, and it crosses over the, where I had to glue the nose back together.
Yeah.
And I think it gained about 1.5 ounces. It's 45 ounces now. So it still flies pretty good.
I bet. And what's it
cool.
powered by? What is that engine?
That's a 46 LA.
All right.
Guys, I'll be back in a few minutes. I got to take the dog out.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Very good.
It's a nice model. That little one you made there.
The Challenger.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I researched for years trying to find it. I had that old picture, and it's just not a very popular one. I've never seen an actual one built by anybody. To me, it was always the perfect airplane, but every time I researched it and found a Challenger, there's a different Challenger. Is it a Sarpulus design?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I'd always land on, and of course that's not what I was looking for. So
That's a great find and everything. I think it's really, really something too. When I've had a couple things like that, my dad had built some airplanes he had never flew or something like that. And later on, I built one of myself, and I finally got a chance to fly it, like 50 years after the fact and stuff like that. And it's really special. That's
I was
really
just going to
special. I
say,
know
use
exactly
that
what
same
you're
word,
feeling with
special,
that.
Danny. Yeah.
So
Got a
I want
similar
I want
question.
my grandson to be with me when I fly it.
absolutely. Let him fly it around by the lead outs too. So well, he's actually way past that though, isn't he? So
Yeah, he is. But that's how he started. He started whipping little half A planes until he was dizzy.
Yep. He learned how not to be dizzy when he was actually flying then. So
That's true. Yeah.
so
I've got a similar question I'll ask you guys in a little while. I'll see if I can. I drew a sketch from memory, and I cannot find the plane, but Mr. Trossel might be able to help. He's pretty good with this sort of stuff. I'll hold it up when I find it.
All right.
I'll wave it around.
Well, while you're doing that, let me share this. I have a image here. I got it off the Stunthangar forum. And let me share this here. Where's my screen at? Hang on. There we go. So let me share. Okay. Are you guys seeing this? It's the Golden State Stunt Championships.
that was just this
Yeah,
weekend,
I just
right?
got it.
Yeah, last
Just
week.
got it in my email today, I think.
Yeah, so we had this. I didn't go there, but this is one of my favorite contests. This is their 43rd annual Golden State Stunt Championships. And it was last weekend, the 21st to the 22nd. And they only had one beginner that flew, I guess, Todd Simpson. And he flew a Mysteria, the OS 35. The judges was Jeremy Schultz and Pete Kuna. Pete Kuna has been in the show before. Then we had Doug Barton in intermediate. I've never met Doug Barton, but I've seen him before in other contests, his name. So he didn't have anybody to compete with. He flew a Sig Magnum with the OS Max 50. And then in advance, which I wish I would have been there, it looks like I had a really good turnout. They had at least eight official flights here, I think. Well, maybe not official flights, only looks like 6 flights, but Jeremy Schultz took first, flying the Vector 40 ARF with a badass 2820. And then David Shorts, who I know or I've met, he was flying a plane called, looks like it's saying Fantasy, with a Merkel Rustler 60. So that must be a pretty nice sized plane. Then Lanny Shorts, you guys know Lanny Shorts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Lanny Shorts with his Gypsy. I don't know if it's the red one or the blue one, but had a badass 3515. He took third. So his son beat him. I think that's the first I've ever seen that. But Lanny's a pretty good pilot. So I guess David's really doing pretty good. Took second at Golden State. Then Zachary Schultz, he took fourth, and he had a Skyray with the OS 25 LA. And James Dean had a Trivial Pursuit, but there's an E instead of the V. And that had a badass 3515. He took fifth. And Michael Schultz, I think it is. My print's kind of bad for me to read it, but he was flying the Starlight with a badass 3515. He took sixth. And Larry Wong, who I've met, looks like he didn't put up an official flight for some reason, but he had his Scarab. And then Pete Kuna had his Legacy with an Enya 61CX. Then in Expert, any Canadians around? I guess we got Stuart still, and Lynn was here, but Chris Cox took first in Expert. He beat out David Fitzgerald.
Paul Walker and Brett
Paul
Buck.
Walker's in third, Brett Buck in fourth, Howard Rush in fifth, and Kestis took sixth. Tim Just took seventh, and Dennis Nunes, who's been in here, so is Tim Just. Dennis Nunes, he took eighth, and then Jim Hoffman, who's in here usually, he came behind Dennis, and then Paul Pomposo, who I've met as well. He was flying his Temptation with OS 46 VF on a pipe. And then there's Robert Welch, who I don't know. Marshall Palmer, I know. He had his skipjack with a VF 46. Stephen McBride, who's hosting the Las Vegas Stunt Challenge, he came in behind Marshall. And Brian Moore, who I know, he was flying an Impact with a PA, I think that's a 65. And Osvaldo Campos, which I'm surprised because Osvaldo was flying in advance at Las Vegas last year. So I guess he's up in Expert. And I know he gave Mike Lonke and Brent Williams, those three were really close last year. Then in Classic, there's Dennis Nunes flying his Gladiator. He took first. And Robert Welsh took second with a Chisler. Lanny Shorts, third with his Gypsy. David Shorts lost to his dad in Classic. Warburn Tony. And then Pete Kuna, he rounded it out with a Fury. If that's the same wall gas design, that's a pretty plane, that Fury. I hope it is. And then old time, was that Gordon?
That was the same one that Lee Wolgast designed.
Yeah, that's a pretty plane.
Yes.
And then Jim Hoffman took first in old time with a Galloping Comedian, and Robert Welsh took second in a Humongous, and David Shorts took third in with a, I guess it's a Black Tiger. And then Doug Barton with a Jameson Special. So they had a good turnout, looks like. The CD was Jim Aaron. And I just wanted to share that. But pretty good turnout, looks like. I haven't seen the I haven't been to Golden State because of COVID and other things. So I'm glad they had a good turnout.
The star-studded lineup.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it was a little bit further. When I went to Golden State, is at Madera, and it was up in I think it's called Mathis, a little bit further north. It might have been almost a 7.5 hour drive for me to go to that. So I'm glad that they had a good turnout. I wish I could have been there.
Hmm.
So we're just going to talk about the vertical 8. Let me catch up on the chat box. Tom Rammel, he provides the like, and then he had the provided and the caps, and he just told me he wasn't yelling. Okay, I understand that. And then Tom Rammel said Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football tonight. Okay. And Todd Stimson said Golden State this past weekend was loads of fun. I was the only competitor in beginner. Oh, it's too bad, Todd. And then many thanks to Jim and everyone who helped put on the contest. Congratulations, Todd. That still is an accomplishment to fly in beginner, even though you're by yourself. Hi, Naomi. Oh, you're muted, Naomi.
Was it down there?
What you got there, little wizard? Oh man, I think that was either my first or I either built the wizard first or I built the jumping bean first. I don't remember which one I built first. Look at that, very cool. You're muted, by the way, but that's all right, unless you want to explain something.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. I got grandsons. I got twin grandsons that are going to be 5 this year. And I got this one kit. You know where I might be able to get another one?
Brodeck,
Correct?
the regular stock item at Brodeck.
Okay, maybe I'll
In
do
fact,
that.
last I saw, they were still using up old Goldberg boxes. The only difference from the Goldberg kit was that they're laser cut instead of die cut. So pretty doggone little piece. So
Okay, I'll look into that. I thought they might have it, but I hadn't looked into it yet. I just thought of it tonight because I'm gonna try and get them for Christmas for them and then build them over the winter.
that's
Yeah, that's gonna
fantastic.
be cool.
You're gonna have them build it, you think?
Yeah,
And that'll be a load, but they'll get a blast building those things. But,
yeah. I'll just get them to sand and stuff, and we'll figure it out together.
Glue. Everybody the kids all love glue. All right. So,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna use the white.
You're gonna
stuff.
make
I'm
them
not-
electric or?
I'm not gonna use CA on it.
no. Then you'll have kids glued to airplanes. Use
Yeah.
use white. Just use Elmer's or something like that. That'll be
Good
plenty
deal.
strong, and it'll be something that they can kind of wash off a little bit.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
I gave my daughter a little wizard when she was 5. And I said, no, don't mess with it. When I get home from work, we'll punch out all the parts. Well, I got home, she couldn't wait and had all the parts punched out. And she showed me where every part went.
Wow.
Oh, that's very cool.
Isn't
Very
that great?
smart little girl.
That's just great.
And then the first 2 flights, I was holding her hand. And partway through the 3rd flight, she said, okay, Dad, you can let go. I got it. And I'm going, if you crash this, it'll be gone because it was on asphalt. I know. After that, she flew it out, landed all by herself.
Oh,
Time she was 14, she was building some pretty nice airplanes, a lot better than what I was building at 14.
wow, that's pretty impressive.
She learned the pattern in 2 weekends.
Wow.
Cow.
Wow.
It wasn't like the patterns I was flying, but for just learning how to fly it, she did a pretty darn good job.
Very good. Hey guys, I'm getting reports that my bit rate is really lower than recommended. I'm gonna see if I can have some people at home turn their phones on airplane mode. So you mind go over while I'm gone, Denny, in case someone comes in or something. I'll be right back. All right.
Okay.
I'll be right back, you guys. I gotta see if I can fix my bandwidth. Hold tight. I'll be back.
Oh my goodness. What was that? Something came over me.
You've been
Anyhow,
anointed.
Charles is ready to start a discussion on vertical 8. I think we'll just sit tight on that till he gets back, because I know we want to be in the middle of that. So I don't know what else we got going
I have a
here.
question for Stuart. What are you gonna put in those little wizards? You're gonna do electric or half?
I'm probably gonna put 049s in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier they were talking about breaking the nose off their airplanes. We had a guy here flying a Magnum with a Super Tiger 60 in it. Well, he kind of crashed it and broke the nose off. Well, next week he's back out there, and I says, "Did you build new fuselage?" He says, "No." I said, "Well, how'd you fix the nose?" He says, "I just used some Elmer's." So I drilled a couple of tiny holes and put toothpicks in it and shoved it back together. And I'm going, with a Super Tiger 60, I mean, they're not the smoothest running motors. You know, they got a real thump to them. And last time I saw, he was still flying that same airplane with the nose hanging on.
Wow.
I was really impressed to think that he could put a nose back on like that and have it stay with, especially with the Tiger 60.
Yeah, but I'd like to watch that one from a distance. So
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
I always thought Fox 35s were a shaker, and then I got my first Tiger 60. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I always got to launch, so I didn't have to stand in front of it.
I do remember way back when somebody had built an airplane and he thought the fuselage was too short. And he literally cut the nose off, scabbed in an extension and glued it back together. And, while he was trying it out, he didn't, he just kind of put enough paint on it to protect it and everything like that. I don't recall he had he had enough flights on it to know that he achieved what he wanted, but the thing turned into a glider pretty soon after that. So
Yeah.
anyhow,
Wow.
not a happy thing.
You know, one of the scariest ones I saw was a Quaker. Usually, if you land them inverted, it breaks the mounts off right at the leading edge.
Right.
Well, this friend of mine broke his, and he says, "You want to go flying tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah, it was on a weekend." So we go back out there, and he's got the same airplane. And I said, "Ted, what did you do for your motor mounts?" He says, "I just pre-glued a couple times with some white Elmer's glue, shoved the mounts back together, and let it sit overnight. And if you don't think I was nervous holding that airplane, I knew that front end was." And we flew several flights that day and never had a problem.
Well, not sorry. One thing about Elmer's white glue is that it does not dry completely hard, which is why it's so hard to sand and everything like that. But I think it gives it a certain a toughness, a resilience to it, because it is a little it's not brittle
Pliable.
hard. All right. And I think it will tolerate some vibration and stuff like that, like even like aliphatic, regular tight bond and stuff won't. But I don't know. But yeah, it's scary sounding, isn't it? To do that.
You know,
John, did you get your sketch you were trying to show? And you're muted right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm sorry. I probably made a bit of noise a while back. I didn't realize it was still live, so I apologize. That from memory is what I built when I was about 12 or 13.
Wow, pretty.
Now it was it took a 1.5 cc motor, and it was a open bay wing. I can't remember if it had flaps or not. And it was my mate and I built one each, and we flew them. We built them as a bit of a competition to see which one would fly better. And the name of it, I think, was something like Sportster or Sportsman or something like that. And I cannot find it on the Outer Zone plans. I can't find it on the plan service stuff. But I wonder if anybody there might recognize it. That was built back in the 60s, about 64, 65, 66, something like that.
Was that a kit, maybe Keelcraft or something?
No,
like
it wasn't a kit. It was built from scratch.
Okay, from a magazine plan or something?
It may have been the plan. I seem to remember the plan being quite clear, had every detail. Often the kit sets didn't really have all the detail. And I remember it being a standalone plan. I'm pretty sure it wasn't from a kit, a Keelcraft or something, but I may be wrong. Your memory plays tricks on you. It had plywood wingtips. It had fences on the wings.
All right, that's like a flat plywood plate on the wingtip.
Oh, it had wheel spats as well. I've just realised it had spats on the wheels as well. Well, they lasted about 2 minutes flying on grass. Yeah, it had spats as well. So if you can imagine that with, some nice aerodynamic spats. It was quite fun making those from memory. I remember that was the first time we built a plane with spats on them,
Okay.
Very, very cool.
So I don't know whether anyone recognises that, but it was a real nice looking little plane. It flew quite
Yes,
well.
it is nice looking. All of
But we
that for
built
1.5 cc's. It had to be a
Yeah.
heck of a nice little project there.
Yeah.
But for
it
those
was-
of you who understand metrics much more than I do, how big is a 1.5 cc? A 15?
it's a 1. It's a 0.9 or a 1.
Oh, nine. Oh, nine. Okay.
1.5. That's a cubic inch. So that's. But it
Yeah.
has 1.5 written on the side. Usually the diesels usually have it written in CC 2.5, 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah,
3.5
2.5 is a
and so on.
15. So yeah, 1.5 would be right around an 09, give or take. Okay.
Yeah, or a 10. We used to get the old OS 0.9, and we used to call them a 1.5. I think it was just under 1.5 cc. But we built these things too heavy from memory. They weren't very aerobatic from memory. They didn't fly a hell of a well because we overbuilt them. About 20 coats of dope to try and get a nice finish and all this sort of stuff. I'd love to build one again, and if I can't, I'll probably just draw it up and make it myself and
Sure.
put something bigger in it,
I was wondering, did Keith happen to notice how it looked? I don't know if Keith was paying attention.
Yeah, I don't know whether Keith saw that. I don't know where he is. Is he still there?
He's here, but I'm not sure if he's awake.
Keith's got a good memory for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Keith's got a heck of a memory.
Well, let me let Lynn in. He hasn't really had a chance to say very much.
Yeah,
So
it's been kind of nice, hasn't it? Oh.
No.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Naomi's been talking, doing just fine.
Yeah.
Actually, if Keith wakes up, if Dr. Trossel
there's
wakes
Keith.
up, hang on, there he is. He's stirring.
Hey, Keith, do you recognize this design that Jonathan Carradas has? Let me make it big in. He's
Right.
he built this in the 60s, he thinks. He remembers.
1.5 cc, Keith. It had wheel spats, and it had little plywood fences on the end of it, on the end of the wing. I can't remember if it had flaps or just a fixed wing. I have a feeling it was just a fixed wing.
Was that from Aero Modeler magazine?
I have no idea, and I've got a feeling it was called a Sportsman or a Sportster. The engine was upright and the cowl lifted off the front. And it was a real sweet looking number. My friend made one and I made one. We made them together. It's a bit of a competition when we were about 12 or 13 or whatever it was.
Hmm.
And I cannot find the thing. I've looked high and low, looked everywhere. Doesn't ring a bell?
No, but that doesn't mean anything. I'll look. Just a minute.
It's a real, it just had sort of nice lines about it. And of course, the engine being upright was slightly unusual too.
Yeah.
What year did you build that?
It would have been about 65, give or take.
Okay. I'll look.
Yeah.
Fine.
Thank you.
Keith. Yeah.
That's great. So Lynn, you been doing any building? I forgot. I know you and I talked a couple days ago, but I forgot what you was doing.
I've been working quite a bit, so I got the shop table all set up now and the wood's ready to start being cut, but I haven't cut anything yet. So hopefully
Okay.
tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm off, so I should be able to get some building done tomorrow.
What are you getting ready to
Get a
build?
start. I'm gonna build another big airplane, 75 power pipe this time. It'll be about the size of my big Cardinal. It'll have a pattern master wing, so the same wing. Around 60-inch span, 700 square inches. It'll have the same numbers as my big Cardinal, but it will not look like a Cardinal. It'll be totally different wing tips and canopy and the whole bit. So it'll be a Cardinal with different clothes.
All right.
Okay.
Very cool.
That's the plan.
Very cool.
Sounds neat.
I have a comment from
Yeah,
Jim
I'm
Hoffman,
excited.
who was at the contest. He said, cannot join tonight. Golden State Stunt Championship was excellent. Very well run. Lots of us traveled long distance. Sad that so many folks from local, relatively nearby didn't attend. Yeah, I showed everybody the bulletin of the results. It looks like it was a really good contest, and not surprised that Uncle Jimmy that he did put a good show out, a good contest. So thank you for reporting in. I appreciate that, Jim. I know you must be tired from that long drive. That was a long drive for you. It was a long drive for me. And then you add on another, I don't know how many more hours, but that must have been a super long drive from Arizona up to Sacramento, I think. Woo, that's a long hike.
That is a long hike.
Yeah, very, very good. Thank you very much. So,
Is Lynn still there?
yeah, Lynn's here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Lynn, you've been down under, mate.
What
Where
do
is
you
he? I
mean?
can't see him. Well, your hair's growing out the wrong way. You've grown
Yeah.
a beard.
Oh, you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a little scruffy. A little scruffy right now.
That happens.
Yeah.
That happens.
Look, it
Life.
becomes you. It becomes you. It's
Yeah.
It's
I don't know about that.
a
It's just life right now.
designer beard.
Tonight I had trouble getting the computer to work. It wasn't doing me any favors. I was on and off and couldn't get the audio straightened out, but Naomi came to my rescue.
Very good. Very good.
I tell my wife, I have the same problem. I got a phone with a computer. I can take it apart and fix it and put it back together, but don't ask me to operate the darn thing. But I get in it,
I'm
get
very
it all messed up and get frustrated. Vicky walks over and she just lays her
Oh,
healing
I've been-
hand on it. It straightens up, starts
Yeah.
working. I don't know.
Dennis knows I've been frustrated. I've been techno challenged all day. My phone doesn't work. My computer isn't working. I've just had a
Oh,
great
no.
day.
Oh, Lord.
That's all right. I finally,
There will
hooked
be
up,
days like that.
I hooked up Len with my friend Larry and they decided on smoke signals. So,
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, me.
We'll get it all straightened out. It's all good. Sounds like we've got a plan, Dennis. It's all good.
that's fantastic. It's great to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I
We're
got the
working on it.
rules up for the vertical 8. So let me go ahead and share the screen here.
I'm gonna have to boogie in a minute, but we'll see what she started.
Share screen. Let me know if it's showing up.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, sir.
All right, good. So let me just, you can see the shape of it, obviously. There's 2 required. Vertical 8s are to be started at the point of 45 degrees elevation and finished at the same point in inverted flight. The inside loop, must be flown first. Correct 8s are judged when the model makes 2 8s, each consisting of 2 round loops or circles of the same size, tangent to each other, and in a vertical line, the model must be horizontal at the intersection point of tendency of the circles. The 8s must be symmetrical. The top of the 8s at at the point of 90 degrees over the flyer's head, and the bottom of the 8s is at normal level flight, which is like 5 or 6 feet or 4 to 6 feet, depending upon what you designate. You get maximum of 40 points, minimum of 10. The errors are when the model is not horizontal at the entry. The entry is not within 2 feet of 45 degrees elevation point. Tops of the 8s are not within 2 feet of 90 degrees. Bottoms of the 8s are not at the height of, you see, 3.9 to 5.9 feet, and loops are not round or equal in size. The point of intersection varies. Each 8 is not as described. So, as prescribed, excuse me. So that's the vertical 8. Now I was talking to my friend Robert Gore. I've told him I've crashed more planes doing the vertical 8, particularly coming downstairs, and I would just pancake them all. So this was a maneuver that caused me lots of consternation until a good buddy of mine told me that I needed to follow all the way through on the bottom, move my arm, move the handle down as the plane was coming down, and then I stopped pancaking. So that's the hey Stephen, thanks for coming in.
Hello. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. How you been?
Good, good. Just got back today from Golden State.
Oh, that's right. I saw that you was there. That's great.
Yeah, that was a fun event. He got good for Jim Aaron. He really got lucky yesterday getting it in with the weather. And he ended up having a great contest.
Did you get some commitments for people to come to Las Vegas that were there?
Majority of what you see on this list is all coming to Vegas.
Oh, that's great.
Even the one beginner here was talking about coming, Todd Sims.
Yeah.
He said he was talking with his wife and saying he wanted to come by. Doug wanted to come by. The Schultz were going to, but they said they can't this year because of their work, David with his work. So they planned on it for next year. But just about that was, there was the advanced guys I wasn't seeing anymore from what was there. Jeremy wasn't going to make it, he told me, because he lives up that way and he just wants to go to local contests that way. Understood. But everybody in the expert, just about everybody that you see there in experts coming to Vegas.
Really? Wow. Great. Paul Walker's coming this year?
No. No matter how you twist his arm, and I tried every way possible, and so did everybody else to try to intimidate him and give him all types of ways to come out. He keeps putting it down.
All
I
right.
don't know, all his top guys that he flies against and that he flew against the Golden State are always there. So I don't know why he keeps putting it down, but he passes out. And they kind of, everybody else tried working. I asked him once and everybody else tried working on him, but he puts it down. I don't know.
So Brett Buck will be there?
Brett Buck says he's going to be there as long as he doesn't have a problem with his work schedule. He's definitely going to be there.
That's great.
Yeah, I know he says on the weekends, so he has to cover for his boss, and he does a lot of things. So as long as his work schedule works out that he can leave, then he said he's definitely going to come out. He's going to make it. So
Great.
it's going to be a big turnout. It's going to be definitely a big turnout this year.
Fantastic. That's good news. Anyway, since I was talking to you now, I was just talking about the vertical 8. You have any comments about the vertical 8?
They're always going to judge you as the size of the loops, and especially your first loop or your second loop where that intersection comes into play. And the biggest thing that people do on that is where they favor it. They baby it at the intersection and favor it to give themselves extra room, but then they're killing the maneuver because you're losing the size and you're losing the airspeed.
So what you're saying is the top loop, they're bringing up the intersection instead of bringing it down?
No. The intersection is actually at 45, just above 45. So you're doing that first loop. You're doing your first loop. And as you get to the top of that first loop, it's just like your regular AMA 8, where that loop comes up and then has to come back around. Where you get to the top of that loop, that's where you're supposed to start getting down and doing the other part of that loop and bring it right back to the center of that intersection. Where
Right.
too many people sit on that loop, they'll do that first loop, sit on it a little bit too long. The plane starts to tip down.
Oh,
it's
okay.
going down a loop, and now they're buying time, so they're bringing the top loop around. Now you got this big, humongous egg going around over the top, and you're trying to meet the intersection. And now you have to force it, and you're trying to meet the intersection of your first loop. And you're either going to get a gap, or you're going to have an unproportioned. You're going to have a round loop here, and you're going to have an unproportioned egg, and they're going to nail you for points on that. And then you're going to bring it down. If the plane's turned right, it will turn that maneuver without a problem. You can bring it right to that intersection, pull up, and it will come around.
All right.
You fly that bottom loop. When you come off the outside, you go back into the inside, you should be able to hit that intersection and fly that inside loop again.
Right.
And they're going to want to see it also when it comes down and you come down to the bottom. A lot of people all of a sudden, because they want to make sure they have the clearance, they're going to overcompensate and give too much up and over. And now you take it and you make a quick egg, or they came down quick and they said, oh, the loop is supposed to be this wide, and they make a flat at the bottom to bring it around. So they're going to look at a lot of points on that you can lose on that maneuver, just because of the wrong types of flats and unproportioning both loops.
Let me let Keith Trossel comment. Go ahead, Keith.
Okay, a couple of things that I see common mistakes. One, because everybody normally makes their regular loops too big anyway. They'll make same size loops within the vertical lathes, so the top loop goes way behind their head, so they're not 45 degrees diameter loops like they're supposed to be, like regular loops are. And you can tell when you're judging, you can tell, you have to pay attention, but when they're at the top of their top loop up there, just as a judge, look down and see where you can tell if that's behind the pilot's head or not. And if they're way behind the head, it's very obvious, sometimes a little bit behind the head. If you look, see where the pilot is, you can see that they're still behind the head. But the most common error, I think, is that pilots are going to think that, hey, the judge wants to see the airplane in a horizontal position at the intersection, which is true. But that is just a point, an intersection in the eight, just like the horizontal leads, or it's a point where it's turning one way and instantly turning the other way. But what pilots do is when they're turning that first loop, they say, hey, I'm inverted now, Judge. Hey, do you see I'm inverted? I'm already inverted now, and then I'm going to start turning my top outside loop. And then I'll do the same thing coming down. When he's coming down, he'll be inverted again. And he sort of like turning around and say, hey, Judge, looky over there. I've got my inverted flight. Now I'm going to start turning my inside loop.
Right.
As I was saying, very tricky.
And like we talk about on the horizontal leads, put two Coke cans together and you'll see that point of intersection is just a point. The airplane is one way and instantly turning the other way, and physically the pilot can't make his wrist snap his wrist that quick to make it right, but he can come close to do it. But it's as soon as he's horizontal, it's got to be turning the other way instantly.
Now at the top of the top loop at 90 degrees over the pilot's head, shouldn't the plane, I mean, as far as from the judge's point of view, look like it's a knife edge at the very top?
Absolutely. It's tangent with the vertical plane through the pilot's circle, for the pilot's position through the center. So it's like a point on the wing over, just a point on the wing over.
So if the judge sees the plane laying down, then he knows he's not on top over his head.
You're right. But the common mistake is go way behind his head. Even good pilots, and I won't mention names, do that.
Well, the other thing people will do is make it a snowman.
Yeah,
Very common. They make it a snowman. They make a big inside loop and the outside loop, they swing it quick. They're trying to make it look like it's vertical and they know they have to be vertical. So they're going too quick and they make a snowman.
So Stuart, did you catch what we're talking about, Stuart? I know you're muted, but I can see you're concentrating.
Oh, yeah, I see what they're saying. And I kind of realize the mistakes I'm making now more when I'm flying it too, even. So I'm trying to improve that. So
I can give a suggestion, and other people may disagree with me about how to fly the thing better, and that's to use the wind. Instead of placing the center of that vertical 8, the axis of the vertical 8 dead downwind, I like to offset it to my right, so that when you do that first half loop coming around, you're past downwind. So when you're climbing up to do the outside loop, you've got the wind helping you push that thing up and over the top. And for me, that works. And for people I've helped fly, they seem to think it works. Other people might find it works better to work the wind the other way. It sort of depends on what the pilot likes, what he feels, and how he reacts to the wind. But it's worth experimenting with when you're practicing the loop. Instead of just going downwind, trying to center it downwind, why offset it a little bit to the right or to the left to see what works best.
we'll have to try that one.
Yeah.
You have a comment,
Okay, so
Dennis?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and this has been said a couple of times already, but I have my visual aid handy if you want to blow that up. The transition from inside to outside, I don't know why the vertical aid seems really worse than the horizontal aid. As Stephen commented and Keith commented and everything like that, everybody gets halfway around, and I think it's like and then they just kind of fly around and, oh yeah, time to do the outside half, and they come through and it's flat again and everything like that. You have to think of it this way. Imagine you're flying the bottom loop, you got a little bit of up elevator, you're flying the loop, and you get to that intersection, you have to in effect put a square corner in it. You need an instantaneous control from an inside loop to an outside loop. That's the only way you get a quick transition between the two, because it's the same old thing. You got these two circles, they touch at a point, not at a line or anything like that. And so you have to instantaneously change that control, from a predominantly inside loop to a predominantly outside loop. And you have to get it develop the habit to hit that right, because you'll hit it too early, you'll hit it too late, too hard, too soft, or something like that. And that's what they make practice for. You have to just keep doing that. Secondly, I like Keith's suggestion about offsetting it in the wind. I have not tried it that way, but I will definitely be trying that. What I was going to add on that is the vertical aid can be a challenge in the wind, because when you go to the top, to the outside loop, what's happening is you have the wind blowing, blowing into the airplane, and it's right on your back and everything like that. And the tendency, if you're not flying for the wind, is that it's going to blow the top down. So you're losing all your room on the top side. And then you get cramped for coming back through and everything like that. So I guess what I get to is I like trying to come in, and then when I do that when I get to the outside part, I'm trying to basically make a hard effort to make sure that I'm going to get up high enough. And again, in the wind, make sure, here we go, my other visual. As the airplane's coming around, make sure that I'm getting it in this first quarter loop, that I've got a well-established vertical line to make sure that I can get up high enough. So I am truly going over my head and not getting it blown down in front. And then don't let it, don't lollygag on the other part, because that wind is as you're coming back down, the wind is going to want to make that a softer turn. You actually have to turn it fairly quickly through the first quarter, and the airplane's moving, it's going to be moving very fast.
Yeah, it's
But
accelerating.
your control has to be fairly aggressive assertive in that part so that you don't lose all of that altitude, back to the 45-degree position. Because if you do, then you end up trying to tuck it under and you pancake lots of airplanes, as we've heard said before. So that's, I guess, all I was going to add on that.
Thank you. That's a good point.
Your point is right over on the top, right at the top point of the vertical. If the wind is pretty hard on your back, it's going to push that plane down. So you have to work on that to come aggressively, or to work that plane to actually use the wind to get you up and come aggressively around the top to bring it around to meet. But then
Yeah, you can't go to sleep on the top loop in the wind.
No, you can't go to sleep, but you got to remember yourself coming back down. Then you're going to whip coming back down, so you got to be ready for it to come back up again.
Yep. And good for energy management. You do the first one, complete it, coming through really clean through the bottom, maintain the speed that you gain in the dive and everything like that, and then whip it right back up into it. Maintain as much speed as you can getting through that transition. So it's very much you get the hang of it. You'll notice that you're doing a very good energy management exercise, trying to keep that top loop where it needs to be. So
Jonathan Carradas, just trying to get in.
I was just thinking, yeah, it is a good idea, but you would have to be careful that you don't go too far around for the judging point of view, because the gain you get by straightening out the move is possibly lost through a distorted view by the judges.
I'm not talking more than about 10 degrees offset.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
That's right. Just
a smidgen, somewhere between a smidgen and a whatever. But yeah, just a little bit.
What do you guys say? A scotch?
Yeah, between a scotch and a smidgen. That's it.
But that
sounds like
practice and find out what feels best for you. Maybe not at all, but maybe 5 degrees, 10 degrees, but probably not more than 10 degrees off down the wind.
Now, do you guys find that when you do the top loop, you really have to crank in that down to keep that loop from growing?
You can be right in the wind. All right. You have to, you have to stay ahead of it. Let's put it that way. If you wait until you're down here thinking, oh my God, I'm losing all my altitude, you're toast. All right. Because you just can't get it in time. You have to make sure that while you're at the top of the circle, before you get to the top of the circle, you got to be ready to assertively lead that airplane through the loop. So when the wind is forcing it down and everything like that, it's not going to force you below the 45-degree point.
Yeah, you're coming downhill and the wind is pushing you downhill. So yes, that's the thing.
Find times you're going to be using less control, other times you're going to have to be harder on the control.
So
right? You're going to find times you're going to be more on it. You're going to have to use more control, and other times be a little less on. You can be a little less on the control, depending on how your wind is working with you. Now, I also like it. What I found is the same like when you're doing your inside loops. I'll do that first inside loop, and when the wind, you don't have the wind, and it's a real calm or dead day, step back to get yourself out of the air, out of your turbulence, because you can stall coming back up.
You need to paint the maneuver and you don't lock your wrist when you're inside portion or the outside portion. You don't lock the wrist. You have to fly it through the maneuver.
Right.
You know what I find kind of particular about this maneuver is that it says the start and exit is at the intersection.
That's right.
So, I mean, I don't know why they don't say it doesn't start at level flight. I don't understand. Because you start, I mean, I'm saying you're starting at level flight, but you're flying at level and then you bring it up and they're saying when you get to the intersection, that's when the maneuver starts.
Yes. And it's not called 2.5 loops. It's called 2 loops. So.
Yeah. That is a curiosity, isn't it?
It is, because you're starting there. So I guess that's where it's one. Okay. Yeah.
It would be interesting to do a lazy vertical 8, wouldn't it?
I don't know how you do it. What do you mean? Put the inside loop on top or something?
Well, you just do an S, don't you? From the bottom up.
In other
Oh.
words, it's a cross between hourglass and a vertical 8.
Make
Yeah.
it, make an X in between it instead of a flat.
That'd be interesting.
Point intersection.
Hmm.
No, you don't see that so much as people just holding that horizontal intersection too long. That's all.
Mhm.
People will S that intersection more than not.
Yeah.
No, I think that's still a minority compared to the people who go flat through the intersection. I mean, that's
And
that's
running
all, flat through the intersection is like,
running too long, too flat.
yeah. Not too many people turn it too quickly. It happens. You're dead on at that. It happens, but
Well, no, what
I
I'm
think,
talking about, people being
number
worried
of
about.
times it happens is pretty, is much less than the ones that go flat. So,
No, I'm saying people which is considered over controlling, but people using it to compensate their room. So they're doing that one loop. They're still holding on to it too long. So the plane's actually still in that loop. It comes back down. Then they're bringing it around. They're holding on to it down too long. So the plane comes back up and then they're coming back around. So they're buying themselves a little bit of room and then coming back around.
yeah, and buying themselves room at the cost of a bushel of points.
The
That's,
bushel of points, yeah,
it's pretty hard to hide that, when they come,
when that plane's
come
gonna
through
up,
outside and then,
gonna
Yes.
they're laying on the elevator trying to get enough room to tuck it under.
Yeah.
But
you
that's,
know you screwed up-
discretion, the better part of valor. Sometimes you get yourself too low and stuff like that. You're looking at a crash if you don't
You
do
use your
that, so.
discretion. You use that discretion. If you know you screwed up and the plane wind blew it down and you lost your altitude, you lost your space, like Dennis was saying, and you're not high enough anymore, and you can't. Yeah, well, you save yourself the airplane and buy yourself the time and bring it around. Just you get to fly it, but don't pile it in the ground because you said you're supposed to have that point intersection. So for the point of that, if you have it right, yeah, you're supposed to be at that point intersection and then bring it around. But a lot of people will practice that maneuver to get used to it right off the bat and buy themselves the time and point it up, and they'll lose a bunch of points. But don't pile it in the ground just because of the sake of the maneuver.
That's it.
Hey, Belinda. Busted. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm
Good
trying
to see you.
fly without being seen. I'm like, I heard you.
No, there's a bunch of men in here. One female going by. We all notice you.
Mhm.
She took the trip with me and she went to Golden State. She had-
Oh, nice. Very
Excellent.
nice. Well, tell
She
me when
said-
she starts launching you, then I'll be really impressed.
Oh no, that's not gonna
She
happen.
said no.
Never gonna happen.
It was cool and damp, so she really didn't get to see too much, but she stayed in the car so she wouldn't get sick. Because it was cold and damp and a little rainy, so she didn't get out. She said she'd make the trip as long as I didn't have any tricks up my sleeve this time.
All right.
I told her, no, we're not getting married at this contest. So we got a little time yet.
Let me get Gordon's attention. Hey, Gordon, how you doing?
One thing I noticed too on the vertical eight, if they don't let that lay completely over, the top loop is offset, so they're not vertical anymore. If they hit that too quick,
Yes.
Yeah, drunken.
coming down, they get it vertical and they cut it too quick, they end up chopping, going through the first part of the loop.
Yeah.
So, and,
We call them drunken sailors.
But when you're doing that, Gordon, what you're gonna end up doing the same way. Now you don't have as a vertical. Now you actually set it up. You set the whole maneuver off to the side.
exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
Yep. You put this maneuver. You got one loop here and you got one loop there. You actually put this whole maneuver at another 30 degrees offset.
Yep.
What I think is kind of hard is you're actually doing the bottom loop almost twice, and to make those one lay on top of the other before you even start. You can come up there, come back around, then you start.
Yep.
You follow me? And that's kind of hard, laying that bottom one on the second one on top of that one, and then you go upstairs. I find that a little bit challenging.
Well, I found right through the middle of where you do your intersection, there's a quick pause. As you come across through the center.
You make it big, Gordon, so people can see what you're
Well,
showing.
as you come come around, there's a slight pause for a split second. Then you start the outside and there's a slight pause before you come in.
Right.
If you don't do that, you're going to be cutting through the intersection.
Okay.
And Ted Fancher told me this, that you don't leave it there, but there's like you finish the loop, pause, and go into the next one, pause. You know, it's a very, it's a kind of a quick pause, but to complete the loop itself, you've got to pause for just a split second before you start the other way.
Yeah, we know when I flew my Strega, that pause was a lot longer than when I flew Sparky's Junar XL at the Nats. His plane was I had to almost anticipate that pause, or else I'd go too long. Where I seemed like I had a lot more time, maybe because my Strega is bigger and heavier, but it just seemed to allow me the luxury of having a comfortable pause. But Sparky's Junar, I had to be right on it, because as soon as I'm thinking I'm pausing, I'm actually going back down.
Yep.
So they're going up. So I had to really anticipate his plane and get on it real quick, much quicker than I was accustomed to.
Well, that
Yeah, I
Junar-
think if
that
you
Junar
notice
really-
the pause, you spent too much time in horizontal flight.
Yeah. It just seemed like I had more time with my Strega. I couldn't, I'm not even sure if I'm doing a good job explaining it, but it was characteristically night and day. It caught me off guard how that Junar went to that intersection. I mean, it was good.
That
What?
big wing on its
If that
finger
pause
went
too long, they're going to be egg shaped.
Right.
And we're talking just a split second there to complete the loop, then transition. And if you leave it there too long, they can't help but be egg shaped.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I think it's pretty ugly when people do that loop and then they go back down, then they go up. This is just so ugly, you know. You gotta keep it right there, you know.
Especially on the outside, as they're coming around, they climb back up before they tuck it back under.
Yeah, that is so ugly. Oh, it's just like it just,
You know, with flyers that well, you don't see that happen too much on expert flyers, but you do see it quite a bit on advanced flyers. And it's a tough maneuver. You know, it's like trying to get the overheads.
This is one I've been working a lot on. I've been putting a lot more practice in this maneuver.
which one, Stephen?
This one we're talking about. This is
Oh,
one
okay, good. I'm glad we're talking about it then.
we're talking about this one on that intersection. This is one I've been practicing with a lot, because that first point intersection is a lot of points. I can bring that around.
In the chat box, let me know if the video is lagging or buffering, because I'm looking at the stream and I'm getting this warning about my bit rate is lower than recommended. So let me know.
The fun thing I heard about the vertical too, people used to say is, I did the second one better than I did the first one. You just did the smoother mistake the second time.
Oh. What are you looking up, Keith?
Oh, I'm trying to get this.
Oh, the prop?
Yeah.
Oh, great, great. That'd be great. Steven, have you seen that prop that Keith has? He has like a
No.
globe.
No, but I was curious to know, is plane all done and ready to go for Las Vegas?
Who, me?
Well, yours and Keith. Did Keith get his,
I'm bringing old airplanes.
what's that?
I'm bringing old airplanes. All my other ones I broke.
What happened to the new one?
I broke it.
Again? Oh, shit. The new big job?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Inside.
Could I ask Dennis to hold up that handle that he was demonstrating with a minute ago? Dennis, I don't know whether you can, I can't see you.
The handle?
Yeah, the handle.
Yeah, you were waving your handle around and
Oops. Let me put
yeah, I was
safety
gonna
thong
say,
on. I don't want to
yes.
demonstrate unsafely, so.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
So
go.
your grip leans forward slightly on the top line. I wondered why it was longer at the bottom. Yeah, yeah,
It's the shape of the handle.
It's actually the same length here, but the grip
yeah,
is offset. Create the magic angle is designed by, I guess, by gun manufacturers. There's an angle that was supposed to be natural grip.
Bob Hunt designed that, or his dad designed that.
Yeah, this is this was a 3D clone of my dad's handle that he was hand making back when. And really, if you take a look at it, the handle's slightly wider and gets narrow and everything like that. That's what your
Yeah.
fingers do. You know, these are the
Yeah.
longest fingers. This is the shortest finger.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole idea is that everything should reach around. You see how these knuckles are lined up?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's kind of
At
a
all.
measure that the fingers are all reaching around at basically the same kind of rate and everything like that.
And your fingers only just fit in too, because you've got, you know, your little finger and your pointer finger are actually wedged in, aren't
Mhm.
they? Comfortably locked in.
Yeah, there's really
No
no
slop.
extra space or anything like that.
No.
I personally, whenever we show handles, it's always some of the best shows. But I personally like a finger grip because it just feels like my hand can go the same place in a handle every single time.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And I know that there's some people who like something like, say, the regular easy just style, a smooth handle and stuff. So they'll actually, especially if they'll actually, you know, cheat their hand up or down just a little bit to help adjust if their neutral setting isn't dead on or something like that. They'll kind of cheat it a little bit by sliding their hand up or down a little bit. And
Yeah.
this, frankly, this won't let you do that. So
No. Yeah, I notice that. I like to fly on my fingertips basically, which is possibly a bit of a dangerous thing to do sometimes, but I like
There
to
we go.
lock it in with my thumb, you know, and have it on my fingertips.
Danny,
That way I
one
can
second.
move my wrist quickly as well.
Is that handle
dude.
what you compete with, Denny?
it used to be. I've been using hardpoint handles lately and stuff like that, but this is a clone of the handle that like the handle I used to use when I won junior and senior in the Walker Cup and all that kind of stuff. I was all with this style of handle with cables and everything like that. Got
All
away
right.
from cable handles, got away from, you know, single adjusting handles and stuff. But I tell you what, this is when I want to feel comfortable flying an airplane, I fly with this handle. So
All right. Very cool.
even
cool,
now,
man.
even though I don't use it all the time, I pick it up and it instantly feels like an old friend. So
Very cool.
I got crimped ends on it.
it does.
Huh.
Got plastic coated cable with crimped ends.
Well, let me look at this prop that Keith brought out for us to give us the this is the pilot's view right here.
The
Oh,
judge's view.
This is the
There we
judge's
go.
view. All right. And those things are the same size shape, right? Those
The same size loops, yes.
the same size. Wow.
And there at the top there's top up here. Let's see. Yeah, there.
Yeah, that's at the very top. Yeah.
And those are as close as I can make same size. They're 45 degrees wide. Top and bottom.
Wow.
And the intersection is at 45 degrees.
Nice.
Those latitudes are 10 degrees apart. So you can count 10, 20, 30, 40, and 45.
Right. Very nice.
Mhm.
Wow.
And
That's
so you can see the
great.
perspective from the judges. But
Yeah.
From their point of view, because the top loop is closer to them than the bottom loop, it looks bigger.
It does.
It's starting to challenge some of my preconceptions about judging. This and the stuff you had the other day, about the square loops too.
Yeah.
I don't know how we compensate in our head for this.
And the pipe cleaners sort of exaggerates or doesn't exaggerate, misrepresents what this intersection, that should be just a point right there.
Yeah.
Right.
And because of the thickness of the pipe cleaners, well, you see it sort of run one into the other. But like I
Very
say,
nice.
what I like to say when I'm talking about in clinics or judges training or something, why it's almost like when the pilot gets up to here, to this point, he's like wanting to turn around and say, "Hey, judge, there's my horizontal. You see that?"
Yeah,
Now I'm
you
gonna
see
start-
that, yeah.
Now I'm going to start turning the other way. And like Dennis was saying,
So
it's an
as
instant.
judges, Keith, the implications are when we're judging that we really need to see the top maneuver of a two-piece maneuver, like your eights or your square loops. They actually come down to us where we're sitting as a judge. They come down like an hourglass, slightly.
Sort of.
From our point of view, if it's done accurately.
Well,
But
and
as a judge, I'm always looking for the, sameness, same length,
you want to think that what the pilot's seeing is something close to vertical to the ground. I'm not talking
Yeah.
FEI. FEI is all screwed up. But for AMA, you want to see what the pilot's trying to show or trying to see is something vertical to the ground. It won't
So
be.
if the pilot was trying to impress us by making it look as though they were two perfectly similar circles, he would actually be flying inaccurately. He'd be making his top one smaller. And the same with the top of his squares, he'd be bringing them in.
Hmm,
Am I correct in that thinking or am I wrong? See, this is
I'm not-
where I'm,
I didn't follow that part.
well, from the point of, see that camera now sitting where the judge is, right? Now,
Yeah.
from our point of view, that looks like a mistake. So what I've got to do in my judging from now on is allow for that upper circle in the 8, for example, to be slightly wider at the top than the bottom circle. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job as a judge. I'm not being fair because to the pilot, he's done it correctly, but it appears incorrect to me.
Well, part of the problem, I think, is the focal length on this, the lens on this camera probably is distorting this a little bit more than what you would see as a judge. Because
Yep, sure.
I think as a judge, the easiest points to see are the level flight position, the 45-degree position, and of course the 90-degree position.
and if they're
And I
round,
think if they're round,
they're the same size.
exactly, the round is self-evident. And the size, I mean, if you hit the other points, the size probably aren't going to jump out to you that one's big or small, or if they're round and if they're, they hit the right intersection points, they're going to be pretty doggone close to right. And if you are, if you're
I know we're
conscious that the
splitting
loops
hairs, I
are,
guess.
one is bigger or smaller than the other, then it probably is, and it's probably an error. All right, so I don't know, that's not terribly scientific, but
Well, I think you're right on though, Dennis.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Keith. That really illustrates the maneuvers better than we can just talking about it. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Any more comments on the figure 8, and then we'll just wrap it up?
In fact, Keith, I just thought of something. Your dome would have to go downwards another 1.5 meters, wouldn't it? Compared to what it is now, when you really think about it, because level flight is 1.5 meters off ground.
Well, this thing is up.
I mean, if you really wanted to get silly,
No,
wouldn't you?
It's
looking
raised up
forward-
off the deck. See it?
Oh, you've got it up on blocks anyway. Yeah, right.
so
I
that
think part
repre-
of it too is his hemisphere is an inch hemisphere, not a metric hemisphere. So, oh, wait a minute. Never mind.
No, again, these are 15 degrees going
Yeah.
around here, and these are 10 degrees going up.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Thank you so much, Keith. Excellent. Well, I want to. I'm going to end the conversation about the vertical A. I think we really nailed it, and appreciate it very much. I guess next week or next Friday we can talk about the overhead eights. And but I have a comment from.
You gotta go to the hourglass next time.
We did the hourglass
Yeah,
already.
that's it.
We did the hourglass already.
Did you?
Okay.
Yeah, we did the hourglass as well with the triangles.
Oh,
We kind of doubled them up because they're very similar. It's just one triangle on top of another. But I have a suggestion for Jonathan.
I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that either, but
Well, but
No,
we
I
just
don't agree with that. That's not true. You know, you
That's-
just can't say one triangle on top of the other. And
that's when we just that's matter of fact, the rule book even says that. It said
mhm.
one triangle on top of another.
But the maneuver is not flown that way.
But yeah, but the problem with that rule book is one triangle on the other, but each of those triangles has 2 round corners and 1 point. So it's not like a regular triangle. They're not like the regular triangles that you fly in the pattern.
That's a huge point all by itself. So
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of it that way, but you know, the idea of trying to fly, if you fly it, so it seems like it's wide enough, you'll usually get downgraded for having your maneuver too wide. So,
That
Actually,
maneuver can have a lot
the
of
base of
mistakes.
those triangles in an hourglass is just a little bit smaller than the base in the regular triangles,
mhm.
because regular triangles has that top, which has a radius on it, not a point.
Mhm. Yes.
But let's not get into that. The rules
All right.
don't, the rule, the way the rule is written,
hourglass is more narrow.
the way the rule is written doesn't recognize that fact, actually.
Mhm.
Right. Correct.
The hourglass is actually more narrow than than if you did 2 triangles and tried to put one on top of the other.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
I totally agree.
Anyways, I have a suggestion for Jonathan. Your question about your design that you saw as a kid. Era Dead, I can't say his last name. Anyways, he says that maybe it's a Luciano rocket.
No,
I don't think so.
Okay.
I looked and there's nothing. What do you call that? It was what was the name of it? Anyway, there's nothing in the old time or classic listings that have anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, he just suggested that maybe it's the Luciano rocket.
Nope.
It had a full fuse, a flat tip plates, greater than half A for power, no flaps, and painted up Russian markings, published in American Aircraft Modeler.
No, I
Well,
don't think so. This is basically, it's a big half A size airplane and everything like that. And I think the also the tail dragger arrangement makes it not like the Musicano. I've got a list here. I've got a solid state hard drive here with a bunch of plans I got from Australia, as well as Aero Modeler and stuff. I'm trying to pick through it and everything like that. I've come sort of close, but I've found your airplane with an inverted engine. How's that sound? But that cowling is so distinct and stuff. I know that this absolutely can't be the right thing. So
You're muted, Jonathan. Jonathan, you're muted.
Yeah, I've just now I'll tell you something. It's just occurred to me. The cowling looking side on was like this. I've been inaccurate. The cowling was forward sloping. I've just remembered this. So I'll just draw it so you get the idea of what I'm talking about.
All right.
There we go. It was like that.
Make it higher. Oh, I see. Never mind. I follow you.
The
Oh,
cowling
interesting.
was forward sloping.
Interesting.
That's the spinner. And it had a vent from memory at the end of the cowling. A vertical vent there to vent the air for cooling.
Let me see the rest of the airplane again. Show,
Yeah, so that cowling is incorrect the way I've got it there. It's forward sloping like this.
Looks like it might have been a team racer or something like that then.
No, well, no. Well, it makes me think it's English in its origins because it was, or Southern Hemisphere, because it was certainly team racy sort of
Right.
look about it on the top. But it had open bay wings, as I say. It was actually a stunt model.
Okay. Here, let me show you what I found so far. It's like
Yeah.
say
Wi-
this is
has
definitely
wheel
not
spats
what
too.
you're showing us, but there's your wheel pants, your swept fin.
Yeah, no, I've
no
seen
tip
that.
plates. This is
Yeah,
a
no.
Hearns airplane, the Husky,
Yeah,
0.75 to 1.5 engines,
yeah.
a 26-inch wing. It's in the, it's just close enough to say, nope, it ain't it. So,
No, it's not it.
but at any rate, that was a Hearns kit, and I'm looking around to see if anybody else had anything, like that. But that cowling like that really, it speaks, some kind of a racer or something like that. So I don't know.
English.
Yeah, no, it was definitely not a racer. It was a stunt model, but it
Mhm,
might have been, as I say, flavored from
mhm.
yeah, what we call the pommy stuff, the English stuff. Yeah, that's what it was like. It was more like that.
Let me make it big
In
again,
process.
Jonathan. 1 second.
So it was actually quite an unusual model, and yeah, I think I'll just make one, make a
I
slightly
was gonna
larger
say, you
version.
looks like you got a pretty good plan right there.
Yeah, I can I can translate that into
Mhm.
something that'll go in circles. I don't know. I don't know how
Oh,
well
well,
it'll
maybe
fly,
make
but
it a
it might
little
go.
bigger, or a little smaller to fit the engines you have on hand. You build that up like a 40 size airplane or something like that. You
Yeah,
could probably build a pretty nice flying airplane out of it,
it might look. I'll tell you what happened. You remember the song Snoopy when Snoopy came out?
Uh-huh.
Snoopy, our hero.
Snoopy and a Red Baron.
That's right. We were building, which was funny because we both painted our planes red.
I see you,
And,
Gordon. Just a second. Go ahead, John. Go ahead and finish. I was just letting Gordon know. I know his arm hurts him. I don't want to have to hold his arm up trying to get my attention too long.
No, Gordon can go. That's fine.
Go ahead, Gordon.
I just want to tell Keith hi. I haven't talked to him for quite a while. And I'm going to tell everybody else good night.
All right.
And we'll see you Friday.
All right. Try to catch up with Jerry Silver for me. Did you ever talk to Jerry Silver?
Oh, yes, I have. I spaced you off. I'll remind him.
Yeah, just tell him, how much fun you're having, enjoying the show, and you figured it out, and you can help him figure it out how to get in here.
Yeah,
I know you helped Bart already.
yeah. Bart couldn't get on again tonight. His computer is a dinosaur.
Yeah, well, my computer is acting like a dinosaur too. I think that's why my bit rate is so slow. My computers can't process it. So soon as I can, I'm gonna get a new laptop.
Yeah. All right. Say everybody good night. Good night, Keith.
Good night. And go ahead, Stephen. You had a
Speaking
comment?
of Bart, yeah, he's gonna be at Vegas, but
Oh, good. He's gonna come?
What's that? Yeah, he's coming to Vegas.
Oh, good.
But he's entering an expert. So
Great.
yeah, how about
Great.
that? Got his entry on that, and he's
Oh
entering.
man, this is gonna be a great contest. Man, I'm looking so forward to it. And for our audience, hey, Las Vegas is a destination place anyway, so you can get flights free. I mean, not free, but inexpensive. It's just more expensive getting out, but you can get to Vegas. So come on out. Yes, Stuart, your mic is muted. Stuart, you got to unmute yourself, Stuart.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I gotta get to bed. I just thought of one thing I wouldn't mind talking about in the future is like Venturis.
Okay.
Question on that in the future, so I'll let you keep that in mind. So,
All right.
It's getting late here.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Talk to you later.
We'll be back. We'll be back Friday. Hopefully, you have a chance to do some flying and working on your shop, and come back Friday and tell us all about it. So,
We'll
Stuart,
see you.
I'll see you, Stuart. Keith, did you want to say something, Keith?
No, I'm
Okay.
through.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Until Friday, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.